Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me in today's live stream. I will be going into it's basically an editing walkthrough. I'm actually working on a trailer for a movie. It's actually a fan trailer, so it's not an actual movie that's coming out, but it's a trailer mashup that me and one of my good friends worked on together for collaboration basically with another YouTube channel, Cater Chaos. I will drop their link in the description below to get focus here. Camera's struggling to focus on me. But essentially I'm going to be going to like a breakdown on that, how to go about editing a trailer. And this, like I said, it's basically just a walkthrough. I'm going to show you how I do it. This is not like what you would normally have in terms of making a trailer, because this is a trailer. Basically what we did was we wrote a script for a trailer based on other shots from other trailers. So that's what the whole challenge was that we wanted to do. So let me just make sure everything is working correctly. I'm going to pull up the stream on my end to make sure we are rocking and rolling before I get started, because I make sure you guys are hearing me and we're good to go. But yeah, if you're watching, let me know some other things you would like to see in terms of DaVinci Resolve. As you know, on this channel, as you can see, I do a lot of DaVinci Resolve content. And if you guys have anything specific that you're struggling with or you need help with, let me know, and I can see about doing videos for that. All right, let's see. I can see I'm live. Yep, I can see it. And I can hear it, so we're good to go. Cool. All right. As I do in my other podcast, this will be up later, so it's all good. I just decided to hop on and do one real quick. I probably need to start actually advertising these so people know when I'm go live. Right now, I'm just kind of just going live whenever. But let's hop into it. I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to take you guys behind the curtain so you can see the editing process. DaVinci Resolve is really cool. I really like DaVinci Resolve. Anyone who tells you that DaVinci Resolve is not good because it's not the industry standard, don't listen to them. Not that they're wrong, that it might not be industry standard, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't use something just because of that. All right, because my whole thing on that is things can change. Just because something is a certain way right now doesn't mean it has to be that way forever. So many things in life have changed because someone decided to stand up and be different. So it's okay to be different. You don't have to do things just because everyone else does them. It's okay. I mean, I do get why people say it, because a lot of jobs and things will use a lot of people use Adobe products, so I get it. They have the market, hold on the market and market share, but again, that does not mean that can't change. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pull my clips in. Filmmaking collab. All right. Videos. Yep. Okay. All right. So I'm going to make a bin here, call it footage, and then I'm going to show you a little bit of what I'm using as a reference. And what we did was we took some shots. So let's say this is a collaboration between myself and Cater Chaos. And basically they did a live stream recently doing like a reacting to certain trailers. So what we did was me and my friend Trey, who was the main character in this particular trailer, went through the trailers that they looked at, and we basically took shots that we liked and we went through and redid them to the best of our ability and on a tight schedule. We did all in one day, last minute shoot honestly as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off my reference here. I did make like a storyboard type thing as well and Milanote, but I just wanted to get you guys into what's going on here. I'm going to mute this track because I just don't want to mess with it. So we got a shot here of a guy walking into a house. Got a shot here from the new Twisted Metal shoulder that's coming out. Comment if you played that game. I played the video game growing up back in the day. I think it was on the PlayStation. For the new Jules movie, we actually did not use this shot, I don't think. So I'll go ahead and deselect that. Get that out of there. This shot we did use. We used this one. We did do that one. That one. So yeah, we basically grabbed a bunch of shots that we liked. So we didn't use this one. And we tried to recreate them. Like I said, we did it very quick, very rough. It wasn't, these do not look like these really. It was mainly for the, sorry, my computer was freezing up on me. I know it's fine for you guys on my end. Sometimes if you see hesitation, it's like stuttering on my end. So I just need to figure out my workflow to make sure that I can do this and it won't affect the stream. So we used this shot from the Blue Beach. So a lot of it was the framing and the actions that we were doing. So we had a fight scene in there as well. So this is one of the actions that we did. Ahsoka. Yep. All right, cool. So most of those shots we got. So what I'm gonna do is grab that as my reference. I'm just gonna match up. All right, so we need to grab that shot. So I'm gonna come over here to my footage folder. And I'm going to find the shot of Trey walking up to the house. I'm using this as an opportunity to kind of talk you guys through. So we have here the media pool. You have all your clips. So once I dragged everything in, you can see what you have here. This clip is highlighted. You can click on it, double click it, and then it'll pop up over here in your player right here. Whatever you double click on will appear over here. Basically, is how that works. I'm gonna go through. We did 2 takes of that. So let me see which one I like the best. I'm gonna play that through. I have a feeling that I'm gonna go with the first one because I think I held focus the best on that. So just so I don't have to keep scrubbing. Let me just grab that. I'm gonna grab what you can do before you grab something out. Okay, so I am hitting I and O on my keyboard to set an in and out point, and I'm going to grab and drag that down. Zoom out, there it is. I will show you the full length of the entire clip so you can kind of understand what I did. So that's the full clip. You see how it was longer than the first one I grabbed? So when I set my in and out point within the clip itself, here in the viewer, and I dragged it down, it only dragged down the selection I made. I could have dragged the entire clip down and then do all my edits here, which is fine, it's all about what you want to do, but it was easier for me to just, while I had it in my preview, in my monitor, in my preview view right here, I could just set the points I wanted and then drag and drop it down. So what I'm going to do is make another, I'm going to make another tab, another timeline. So you can see the tabs here. What I'm going to do is duplicate this one. And it's going to be copy. I'm going to call this one, I'm going to just name it selects. And that's the appropriate way to do it. It's just kind of how I'm doing it. You know, that'll work. So what I'm going to do is take that out of there, put that here. So yeah, that's in there already. I'm just going to grab out all the takes and then go through them once on the timeline. Sometimes you don't have to do it this way. I'm just kind of doing this because it helps you to keep everything organized. But I could just watch this whole clip here, grab what I need and keep it going. But I'm just deciding to grab all my takes, put them down, and then I'm going to review them together. Because if I ever needed to go back and grab it, I then don't have to go back to the media pool, look through all these clips, trying to figure it out, and then have to click on it and watch them through again. I'm basically grabbing all my takes now, so that part's done. Hopefully this is making sense. I'm just listening for when I say action. I'm probably not going to use that one because it gets out of focus. I'm going to grab that. And I heard myself say one more time, so that means there's another take in there. So I go back. I'll keep doing this in and out point thing to grab the portion of this overall clip that I want. I said action but very low, so I almost missed it. Alright, back it up a little bit, set my endpoint. To set your endpoint, you hit I. To set your out point, you hit O. So, hopefully this is making sense. If you have questions, leave them down below. That's a pretty decent one. So things I'm gonna be checking for in that are going to be, I'm gonna color code these so that way each section is a different color so I don't get confused. I'm just gonna start with orange. There's no specific way you're supposed to do color coding. It's your system, however it works for you. So they built in DaVinci Resolve. This is a standard for any editor for the most part. They should have some form of color grading or things you can do to organize your clips, however you want to do it. This is just how I'm doing it. This is just one way to do it. You don't have to do the things the way I'm doing them, but at least you can see how a pro editor edits, so you can kind of get an understanding of like, oh, okay, yeah, this is things that you should do. So these are just techniques I've gathered on my own through years of editing that help me stay organized, and I'm kind of like thinking ahead of time when I'm editing. I know I'm gonna have to probably go back through and move things around. So if I know, yeah, the first shot is orange, the second shot, or I probably would do this based on scenes, because in that way it'll help me if I have to cut between scenes. So hopefully that makes sense. If you wanted to color code based on like outside shots versus inside shots, interiors, exteriors, you could do that way, because maybe when you go back to color grade, you want to know quickly which ones to go to. Things like that. You just kind of, as you get going, like, these are different ways I can really, fine tune my editing style to help me be more efficient and help you to stay on task and things. That did a lot of takes. Okay, yeah. We're trying to get a truer, similar motion to what they did. I did not have, I did this shot handheld. I had a camera, a tripod, and a couple lights. So it wasn't that like I was actually going to be able to recreate all these shots. I'm going to show y'all a way I could have done this even better. So you saw how when I dragged that clip down, it was blue, and then I had to click on it to make it orange. That's because over here, every clip, video tracks in general in DaVinci Resolve start off as blue. So regardless of what I grab, they're all going to look the same color-wise, which is fine. You don't have to do what I'm doing. But what I could have done, if I had been thinking about it ahead of time, I could have said, let me make the clip orange here. So that way, every time I grab it, and this is the same, same scene, just a different. So now when I grab any part of that, you saw how that changed? It was here in the timeline, and I changed it to orange. And we'll see how down, I'm pointing like you can see my hand. Down here where my mouse is, if you're watching the timeline, when I go and change this, click color to orange, it changed it there too. So that's kind of cool. But basically now when I grab it, it's orange. So anytime I grab anything out of there, the audio and video track of that will be orange. All right, so I got those. So just to kind of match that up so you kind of see what's going on, go over to my reference, my references, and you see here the shot of the guy walking up to the house. So that's what we were recreating. This shot is moving. This is probably either on a dolly or a gimbal, or not a gimbal. It's probably on a Steadicam if it's not on a dolly, but it could be on a dolly. Given that motion, I'm sorry, it's skipping on my end, so that's why I keep playing it back like that. It's probably fine for you guys. Let me, I really got to figure out a workflow, because you guys can see what was happening on my end. Sometimes the player, like, it just like starts bugging out. And I know if I look back, it's probably gonna look perfectly fine for you guys. But on my end, it starts freezing up a little bit. So yeah, that motion is super smooth. It's probably on a steady cam, but it could be on a dolly and a tripod. It could be, but I was trying to simulate that motion to the best of my ability, but you see how that looked pretty smooth overall. So coming back to my selects here, I'm gonna play through all these, try to see which one is the smoothest. Again, I was doing it handheld in a slight motion to kind of simulate. I think it's time for me to upgrade computers. I've already been having issues as it is with my computer, but now trying to live stream and do what I do, it's not it. Let's see, I don't think I want that one. This is gonna be the first one. That third one's bad. This is similar to that, but that I go out of focus so fast on that. So I think this is the overall best one, even though I don't get that same down motion like we had in the other one. I'm gonna roll with this one for now, so I'm just gonna pop it out so I know that that's what I'm selecting. This is a way to do it. I'm gonna grab that, copy and paste. You can copy and paste by right clicking and hitting copy, but you also have keyboard shortcuts you can do. So if you click on it and then hit Command C, you can copy that way. Going back to my main timeline, and over here, I am going to copy and paste. You can right click and hit paste, or the way I like to do it is hit Command V and paste that way. All right, there we go. So one thing I can do, let me make sure that my battery is okay. Yeah, we're good. One thing, sorry for that. One thing you can do, I can do, because the motion isn't as smooth. This should be in 24 frames per second. I don't know why it's not. Sorry about that. I was just updating my timeline. It didn't go to the correct. Did I shoot that? I'm pretty sure I did. Let's check. Yeah, I did. Okay, that's fine. All right, anyways. Stuttering now. Shouldn't be doing that. All right, well. Anyway. Yeah, see, okay, I did. I just changed the playlist. That's not right. Video monitoring. Let's go back to where we were at. I'll have to fix that later. It's not a big deal for right now. Okay, anyway, what we're going to do is, once you have your clip selected, over into the far right, we have what is called the inspector in the top right, over all the way over. If it's not selected, you'd have to come over here and click select, and then you have it. You have all the settings that you can do, like the attributes essentially, excuse me, for your video. So if I wanted to zoom in on the clip or something, I could go to zoom, and then, you know, you can change the position of it, things like that. You see, you can just move it around. And then if you want to reset everything back to where it was, go over, hover your mouse over transform and double click, and then it will reset it back to normal as soon as it decides to work. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about hit transform. I'm not hit transform. You hit the button. So if I was on zoom, you can double click zoom and double click position, and it'll go back. Another way to do that is you can just hit at the top here. You see this little circle arrow that's like going around with the plus. You hit that and it resets everything. But let's say you only wanted to reset a certain aspect of it. You could double click on position and do it that way. Or you could also come over here to this circular arrow, point to the left, and then it will reset it that way. So that was weird. How do I increase frame rate in Resolve? I see your question. Hold on, let me pause. Haley's TV, thank you so much for the comment. I'm not 100% sure I know what you mean by that. So when you say increase frame rate, do you mean you want to speed it up? If you could try to clarify what you mean by that for me. I will kind of just kind of start playing around with what I think you're asking. So if you wanted to increase the frame rate, if you want to, I guess what you're saying is if you wanted to change your frame rate, you would go over to your project settings, and then you could do it there. And you can like set the parameters and things like that. That's what I think you're asking, but I'm not positive. How do I increase frame rate in Resolve? The other thing you can do is go to retime. This might be actually what you're asking. I'm not positive, but if you went to change clip speed, you would be able to. So you have frames per second here. I mean, you can do it that way and increase your frames per second that way. Let me make sure that popped up, because it may not have popped up like it's supposed to. Sometimes it doesn't show correctly. But if you right click on your clip, you will see, let's see here. I'm not sure if this is popping up. If you right click on your clip, you'll see change retime controls, change clip speed, things like that, and you can speed the clip up if that's what you're asking. Hopefully that's what you mean. Yeah, I don't know why that's not popping up correctly. Let me pull this up. Change clip speed. Go over to OBS. Why am I not seeing what I want to see in OBS? Trailer mashup. That's really odd. I don't know why it's not showing for me when I hit the when I right click. So that's really weird. I'm gonna have to figure that out so that way I can properly explain this to you guys. OBS, no, that's not right. It should show up. Oh, wait a minute. Change clip speed. Yeah, that's very odd. But if you right click on the clip, you will see a section pop up that says change clip speed, and you can adjust there if that is what you mean. But if you come over here in the inspector, you see a lot of different settings. So all types of different settings. What I want to come down to is stabilization. So you click on stabilization, and once you have that selected, you'll see a bunch of different options. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. You can quickly go back to what you did, but to whatever you started started at by clicking on double clicking on the word. All right, so what I'm going to do is go to stabilization, and I'm going to hit stabilize, and we're going to see what it does. See how it looks. I'm going to play that back. And you can kind of see, like, sometimes, like, if you do stabilization, it might be too wobbly, so you can kind of go in and play with it to really nail down what it is you're trying to do. It's a little bit wobbly, but I think it does help it a lot, honestly. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I can go in and fine tune it and things like that, and try different, you can do different types of stabilization on your clip. So that was that one. Based on the reference, the next one is this shot. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that real quick. Let's see, we'll go to selects again. This time I'm going to change the clip color to, we're going to do lime. And once I do lime, see, that's so odd. When I do my right click selections, it doesn't show you guys what I'm doing. And I really need to figure that out. So I'm going to try to get that figured out before the next stream, so that way when I'm showing you guys stuff, you can actually see it. I don't understand why it's doing that. So I need to really figure out how to use, why it's doing that. This shot is slightly different because we don't have a red line like they did in the other one, but our line essentially is the sidewalk in the middle of the grass. Sorry if you hear the planes. We live close to a big Air Force base. Me and my wife live close to an Air Force base, so you hear planes going over all the time. So I apologize for that if you can hear that. Alright, so we had 3 takes of this. I was doing this handheld again. I would have did it on my tripod, but the reason why I did it handheld was because I needed to get pretty low, and I couldn't get that low on my tripod. So same kind of thing. I'm going to look at which one I like the best, and I think it might actually be the first one. I love how that leaf was blowing by too. It's like perfect. It was like, yeah, we timed it that way. Let's see which one I like the best. Yeah, it's probably gonna be the first one. Either first or the third. I just like the motion everyone was doing in the first one too. Like, I don't think it was necessarily intentional, but first take was the best one, in my opinion. For me, with what I'm doing. I'm gonna drop that there. I'm gonna do the same thing, add some stabilization to the shot. We're going to see how it plays back. You saw how it was, how shaky it was. We're going to see now. Yeah. Pretty much how I envisioned it would go. It did a pretty good job stabilizing. Now I moved the clip like that, so I have to restabilize because it's like the effect, it has to affect the whole clip. And since I changed the clip a little, I like made it longer, I have to re-stabilize it because it has to analyze the entire clip. But yeah, I like that a lot better now. So that's number 2. We're gonna go to our next shot. I'm not gonna do a whole lot of these right now. I'm just kind of showing you guys some of it. I was not planning on staying on that long. Hopefully, Helios TV, I answered your question. If I didn't, let me know. I'm probably gonna follow this up with like another video so I can actually record my screen properly, because I don't understand why it's doing that. It's really weird. So I'm gonna get that figured out though for the next stream, because it's happened to me before in other streams, but we're still getting our footing. So I'm glad you asked that question, because it forces me now to research that and figure out why that's happening. So thank you for bearing with me, guys, in the beginning of my streaming career. Making videos and then streaming are two different things. It's like you can really see it's a different skill set. It's easy to shoot a video and then edit yourself, but then doing it like live and on the fly is a little different. I think her performance is pretty much. Let's see. I think it was pretty much the same on both. I'm moving a little bit faster just because I want to get there quicker. We took some creative liberties as well. I didn't change the color, but you guys kind of get what I did on the first one, I'm sure. So I'm just kind of, I would normally grab all the takes and then pick which one I like the best, but I don't really need to do that right now. I just wanted to kind of show you guys. Alright, how long did it last on the other one? Let's go to reference so I can get the vibe right. This shot is like a push in and it's moving slightly, so my idea, I'm doing a lot of this, I'm cheating, as they would say. I'm doing a lot of this in post. So what I'm going to do is basically create a camera motion. I'm basically going to create a camera motion. So I shot in 4K, so I got a lot of room to play with, and I'm editing this in a 1080 timeline, so it gives me more room to push in before I start losing quality. I could just do a slow push, like a zoom, but I also want to have a motion. You know, I'm actually going to do a dynamic zoom. This is one of the features that I like. I'm going to do a dynamic zoom, which is one of the features that I like in DaVinci Resolve. It basically creates a nice, somewhat smooth motion. As soon as I catch up here, okay. Linear. I'm going to do ease in and out. And we're going to swap it. Let's see what it does. So you can kind of see it moving. I don't want that shape. What's happening there? Was that in my hand? That's I'm walking past. I guess something shook the camera. Because you can probably see that shake a little bit. But what I wanted, so basically dynamic zoom is DaVinci Resolve doing its own motion, but you can also control it. So the timing of it is cool, I'm fine with. What I want to do is map the movement over a little bit though. So you take the box and you kind of drag it to where you want it to go. It did that motion very fast. So I think to do what I want to do, dynamic zoom might not be the best because I got to kind of play with it a lot. So just so I can have a little bit more control, I'm going to do it myself in transform. I'm going to set this is called keyframes. I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain this without confusing you guys. Just kind of watch what I'm doing, and if you have questions, let me know. Alright, here we go. Come on, reset for me. Alright, there we go. What I want to do is set where I want it to end. And I want the clip to end up here. So I'm setting does that make sense? I'm setting where I want the clip to be at the end, like size-wise. I'm going to hit my keyframes to set them. So basically I'm animating a motion. And then I'm going to go back to the original. So you can click here. Oh no, it's not right. I messed that all up. I messed it up. Okay, let's go. Yeah, I messed it up. Let's reset everything. Alright, start over. I'm going to zoom in. Pull back some because I don't like to do too much. Then I'm going to set that. You want to be careful when you do these types of movements though, because you don't want, I'm trying to simulate the motion that was in the camera slightly. I'm setting my X and Y animation points with the keyframes, and then I'm going to reset back to the beginning of the clip the way it started naturally. And now when I play it through, you'll see what it's doing. So I basically created a camera movement. That feels a little mechanical, so that you could do things to kind of like try to make it a little bit more believable. And one of those is, so if you click on, you have your clip here, and you'll see, I'll kind of zoom in, look here at the clip, you have these little icons here. This is the same, this is like your keyframe icon, and then this is like the line or the graph that I just pulled up. And you can shape it to kind of like try to smooth your motion out, so it's not just like a hard like push. Like I'm zooming in, it's gonna like ease into it based on how I draw it out. So it's almost like taking like if you're like an artist and you're like feathering or something, like so what you do is you click on the point, oh sorry, if I can get it to operate how I want it to. Oh, I'm doing that wrong. So what you want to do is click here. It's not working right. So you can kind of see like the shape here. It was here on this side, and it was more of a straight like line, but then I just add like a little curve to it. I'm trying to click the other keyframe and then set it's so hard for me to tell what I'm doing because the computer is not working with me, which is just great. But anyways, I don't want to spend too much time on that. I'll have to play with that later. Basically what it does is like it would make the motion a little bit, it would like kind of curve into it instead of just going right into the motion. So we'll do a follow-up to this stream to continue showing you guys how to take this project from start to finish. I'm not going to do all that in this right now, but that's getting started and editing a trailer, so you can kind of see what we're doing. This is, I feel like it's easy because I have all these reference shots that we're using, and same thing, I'm just going to go through, find that shot, go to my selects page, drop it over there, click color, we'll do violet, and then I'm just going to grab a section of it. I think we had them start down and then up. So again, we took some creative liberties because we didn't do the motions exactly how they did it. And we had to make it fit our story because we did create a story to it. But you can see that, and then we were basically going for that same look that they had in this shot. So I'm going to play around with it some more with color grading and, you know, try to get it a little bit closer, but that's what we had in camera from where we shot. So you can see that's how we're going now. So basically I'm just going to cut everything together, polish it up, make everything go nice and cohesive together. We have a whole fight scene over here. So there's a lot of things left to do. But that's just getting started. You can kind of see how that's going right now. I'll play that out. And make sure that's rolling. Yes, it is rolling. I'm also going to try to see, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right, Helios TV. I'm going to try to see exactly how to do what you're asking. I'm going to play around with that some more to see if make sure I'm understanding what you're asking, and I will make a follow-up to that, and I will come back to that, to your comment, and with the link to another video that I'm going to make to explain that for you, because I want to make sure I'm answering your question, because I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're asking for sure, and that I'm giving you the answer that you need. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap up for now. if you guys have any questions, as always, just know, leave them down in the comment section below. Transition back. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for those who watched during the live, and for those who will watch later. I'm going to do another one, so don't worry. I'm going to continue to be working on this project. So as I'm working on it, I'm going to bring you guys along to see how progress is going on it and walk you through all the steps. But hopefully just give you a nice little look at like real-time, real editing in DaVinci Resolve. And if this has sparked any other questions, or if it's anything specific, please let me know, and I will 100% either answer your question with another video or in the comments. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.